now that you've seen the site admin quick intro video, your tutorial is going to be a lot quicker, because in essence you have everything that they have access to plus a little bit more. So let's just go in here. I'm going to log in as an admin. Based on my user account, the system will know I'm an admin. And now you will see a different type of dashboard than the user saw. So you'll see a list of the schools you have access to. Depending on who you are, you may have some liaisons that access multiple schools, somebody that accesses all schools. You'll see a list that's longer or shorter than this one here. And it will just give me the days since last entered attendance, right? After school days operated, just to make sure that looks okay. And then some more information. Just remember that these can lie to you. So days since last entered attendance during Christmas break is going to say 20, and it's going to be all red and it's going to be scary, but of course they're on break, so it doesn't matter, right? Conversely, if they forgot to enter attendance for 2 weeks and then entered attendance yesterday, still skip those 2 weeks, the day since they last entered attendance is going to be 1 or 0, right? Because they did enter attendance yesterday. So this is a little, it's very nice to look at and it's very quick to glance at. It's not enough information. So if you scroll down from there, you will start to see the same kind of dashboard they saw on their site admin panel. But you don't have to go into each site to look at it. You get a list of all your sites, right? And you can just scroll down and you can see these sites are empty right now. And here's what's happening. I keep mentioning I should have done this in something other than Safari. This is actually having an issue with Safari. These should all be green, you'll notice, or some of them should be red actually. But this is the same thing we just saw in the user one, okay? In fact, let me just, for the sake of not being ambiguous here, I'm going to do that. Okay. And now you'll see that, right? And so you would have, for all your sites, you'd be able to just scroll down really quick and say, hey, under normal circumstances, of course, these would all be green, right? But you'd be able to just tell at a glance, hey, that's not supposed to be red, that's not supposed to be red. You could call a site, they should know, they should be logging in every day. But you have that power at your fingertips. So that is your home page. You have some more things you can do. You can go to your Site Master, for example. I'm doing the monthly view, so let me just shrink this down a little bit. So that's the monthly view of attendance earned. That's usually not the default, though. You can go to Summary, and it gives you a bunch of information about every school. So the percent they've earned, attendance they've earned, et cetera, their ADA targets. The same kind of information that the school sites were seeing on their homepage, but you need a way to view it all in one shot. Again, calendar year versus fiscal year. You can do it that way if you want. In fact, let's just do one of those. 2017 calendar year. And it should update. You can go here. You can export that to Excel if you want. Yeah, there it is. Okay. In case you need to work with that somehow. There's different views, right? We're on the summary view. You could do monthly grant attendance earned, monthly grant percentage earned, and so on. By district if you had more than one district. By different program, by different grant. If you're multi-funded, you probably don't need that right now. And then each of these is a link to the actual site. So if I click on that, you get the same thing that we just talked about in the previous video. Okay? You have access to every one of their sites, and every function that they have access to, you have access to. Okay, let me go back home here. We just did the Site Master. You can edit the grants, but usually ERC does that. We keep track of who's funded, who increased their grant, decreased their grant, and then it makes those home pages drive a little bit better because we have accurate grant numbers. You have a report center. School calendars is still under construction, so I'm not going to show you that yet. But you have a report center. The difference between the report center that we showed the sites and that I'm showing you is you have this other section called Administrative Reports. That's the first difference. You have a CDE assist report for when you're entering those numbers, an unassigned attendance report. You run that, and it'll make sense of what it's talking about. But when you go to these reports, you have the same list. But if I do something like this 172 report that I showed the sites, now you will notice I can pick, let's say August. I have all the same options, but they didn't have this button here. So I could do choose sites, and I could say, well, I just want it for Acme or whatever. I'm just going to click all of them. I'll click go. This should update. Now, unfortunately on my test system, Acme was the only one I entered attendance into, which is kind of dumb, I know, but bear with me. And you would have had a list of all the schools, and the totals would have been the sum for all the schools. And that's the same for every report that you have access to. Okay? So if I went to the student level report and, I'm going here, I go to this one, which I also show the sites. I go here, I could run it for every school or one school, it doesn't matter. The sites won't be able to do that because they don't have access to other sites. Only you will. Okay? And really, in a nutshell, that's it. If I go to staff module here, again, similar to the site videos, you can add your own users, except you have access to add even higher level users. So they were only able to add site admins and staff. You can add multi-site admins. You can add, we call you guys specialists, but you can add other accounts that way. If you don't want to, just tell me. I'll create it for you. And then, there's really nothing else to say other than your account is always going to give you overviews of all the schools. So, for example, we told the sites that they have an exception center. They know they'll be told when they have errors. Your exception center is going to be a list of all the schools. So you would be able to just go in here and know, Acme Elementary has 11. Let me click on there and see what they're doing. Okay. So every time you go to a page, it's just going to be a summary of what all the schools are doing. But mainly, the reason that this is on the home page is when you log in periodically, what you want to know is A, are they earning their grant? B, are they actually running a program? And C, are they running program on the days that they're supposed to be running? And if not, you'll know right away, right? So you can just log in periodically. I have a list of just tons of features that we're going to add, some of them small, some of them large. So always request, if you think of something, just let me know. I'll put it on the list. If it's very important, I'll move it up the list. For example, I got a call the other day saying, hey, this is great, but I don't log in very often. Is there any way that if, let's say, somebody forgets to enter attendance and 5 days has passed, the system just emails me? And the answer, of course, is always yes. I never say no with the new feature request, so long as it's a good one. That was a good one. I'm going to be implementing that very soon. And then whenever that happens, 5 days pass and they haven't entered attendance, well, we'll just send you an email and you'll know to log in or to call the site. And we'll also email the site so that they know. So you may not have to do anything. They get an email, they know that you've gotten an email, that you were CC'd on it, and they may just get right on it. Now, for your sites, I say all this stuff because I don't know the sites. We have some very good districts where nothing ever goes wrong. We have some very bad districts where these kind of tools are necessary. Hopefully you'll be in the former case where, everyone just knows what the requirement is. They go in, they enter attendance, they run their program, and everything's great. So, but if it's not the case, then, well, we have tools to mitigate that. So really that's it. This is the short version again. Let's have you guys watch these videos. We can set up a live webinar where I can just answer questions. I can have you guys view my screen, and if somebody has a question, I can walk them through it live so that everyone can see it and whatnot. And then let me dig up, we have an FAQ, a frequently asked questions document. Let me dig that up and send it to you as well. And then that is going to help out a lot. The guy I have working on it, he's in Hawaii right now on vacation, sucker. But he has, I have access to the document. I know he's the one that takes the phone calls and he writes them down whenever we get them. So I know he has a lot to add. So I don't want to give it to you prematurely if we're going to be adding 10 more FAQs on there. So let me get that from him and then I'll send that to you as well. So anyway, that's it.